Eh, Okay, welcome to GPAC. My name is Nigel, and I'm doing a little clay demonstration for those of you who cannot make the drop-in. And today, it's now 1:20 on February 26th. It's a Saturday. We have drop-ins from 1 to 2:30 clay drop-in here at GPAC. And so far, it's just me right now and my assistant here, who's off camera. But what I do is I cut a little slab off our block of clay in the back, you can see, and you sort of gotta it's a little stiff. It's been sitting for a while, but you have to smack it into a little ball. That's your first step. And it's after lunch, and you get sort of the nappy feelings when you're kind of tired. So what I wanted to say was that sometimes our creativity is not ignited right away, and I don't, as an artist myself, I don't always know what's going to come out of this block of clay, but we have to kind of figure that out for ourselves. So sometimes digging that little bit of inspiration out can be hard, especially if we're alone, or if we're not, if we're tired, or if we're alone. We just ate our lunch. So here it goes. I don't know what's going to come out of this, but as I smack this thing, I want to leave it a little bit of oblong nature. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a hit in it like that, and it looks something like this. So in the camera, is looking something like this, kind of like a strange sort of image. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna keep playing with it, squeeze it a bit. I want to make some marks and examine it and see if I can see something in it, like visualize something in it. I want to do something sculptural. That's where I find I have a good imagination for making something sculptural. Let me just tilt my camera a bit this way so you can sort of see what I'm doing. And just a little bit down. So I play with the clay a bit. This is only going to be about a 20-minute demonstration. And so I like to, as you see, I kind of pinch it so it kind of stands like that. And, I do a lot of figural sculptures. Recently, I just did some rabbits. So, it's Easter coming up, and I could try to do a little rabbit demonstration. So maybe I'll do that. So as you watch me, how do you make a rabbit out of that? So a sculptural rabbit. So we're gonna try this. So what I do is I want to create like a cone shape. So kind of flatten it a bit. So that's kind of how you get the beginner of the inspiration. You just got to think of something, and sometimes it has to be kind of quick. So whatever comes first. And so I want it sort of a cone shape, or a teardrop shape, sort of a large teardrop, actually kind of like a nose shape. I don't know if that, like a sort of, you want sort of this nose. So there's the top of the nose, and you see there's like sort of these nostril things here, but that's going to be your legs of the back. This is the back of the rabbit, and this is the paws. The way a rabbit sits, he kind of perches on his back hind legs. This rabbit's going to have his paws something like this. So I'm just going to continue. You want to stretch the head out, something like that. Start about midway. You're creating the top of the the rabbit's head, so that the length of this part is almost like half of what you have here. So, and then you start pinching the ears out. You want to create a lot of, you want to grab quite a bit, and you see there's ears coming right now. He's going to be kind of an alert rabbit because he's waiting for something or he sees something. So you just kind of pinch that out like that. Separate those ears just a wee bit. You don't want them totally separate, but so you see there's your basic shape of the rabbit taking form. And as I'm gonna just kind of be quiet for a moment and mold. I'm molding right now this rabbit, and this is kind of the point where you just kind of play with the clay a bit. So I'm actually adding it's called additive method, where you take, and subtractive methods, you pull some clay off the bottom and add some right there to make his nice big paws, his dangly paws there. Rabbits have quite a large hand, if you will, or paw. So I'm doing this primarily from memory of what I've studied rabbits, their shape. So this is kind of coming from my imagination, and you can also try your imagination too. And the legs, always like these legs in the back, the hind legs kind of curl. It's kind of like the hip here joint, or the knee and hip. And then the big paws kind of, the big paw goes, like the foot paw goes right down to the ground there. And then it loops around, kind of does a circle like that, half circle. So you just rub it out a bit with your finger, and then you flip it over and do the same to the other side, trying to copy what you did on that side. And so once you're at this stage, you can do some more fine motor sort of molding. You can use a little tool like a pen. And for the eyes, you want, like, their eyes are always on the sides, so you put little eyes there. And this pen seems to work nicely. So you see his little eyes come in, his little nose. So you put two of those little guys for his nose, his nostrils, and just put a little line with your nail for the mouth. And actually you can do little whiskers. So some of the detail can come after. And we're gonna just, I'll use this pen for a good tool. And sometimes the ears are kind of hairy inside, fuzzy. So you want to put some lines there. And a little bit of, sometimes they have a little bit of hair like right here. So you can mold this guy a little bit, like it does have some flexibility. So to understand how he might move a little bit, and if he were alive. Gotta put the paws there, the lines and the paws. Here's the toes, its feet. I like to use up all the clay I start with, so it doesn't, like, you don't get left with waste clay, but if you do, it's okay. So a lot of this comes from a lot of practice working with clay, and don't be hard on yourself if it's not coming easily for you. Clay is not always easy to work with. Don't think it's you. A lot of people have trouble with clay, so just take your time and slow it down if you need to, and back up and do some. I'm just going to demonstrate, and then you'll have tons of time to I'm just scratching the tail. They're getting it fuzzy, but and so you guys coming, follow that area out a bit. So tail. Then you can start designing him a bit, like putting some marks on him. So putting more fur lines and draw that line of the ears so it doesn't look like he has one big ear. And for designs, you just want to use a sharp utensil or like a pointy utensil and start just scratching them. So make them really nice and scratchy. And clay is something you have to have a lot of patience with because it takes a while and there's several processes. So after we're done this, we'll have to let it dry. And then once it's dry, you have to like bake it in the kiln, the oven, high powered oven. Okay. Now, rabbits are basically the bottom of the food chain, and they have eyes on the side of their heads because they're prey to a lot of animals. So that shows that if they're looking, their eyes are always sort of available to their prey, as if to say like they're watching their prey. So I mean their predator. So if that's kind of their defense mechanism, their eyes and their quickness as well. So many cultures say that like the clay itself is alive and the earth is alive, and some of these cultures suggest that the clay speaks to one and tells you what it wants to be. So I like to think of that artistically and just reflect on where my inspiration comes from, and it comes from a very grounded place or earthy place. So at this stage, we've started a little bit of a rabbit, and that's your basis of your basic beginner course in sculpting something. So I'm going to pause the video there. Thank you for watching this little demonstration, and I will probably share this around. So I'm going to just stop.